Throughout Criminality's history and all the community's wants and needs, one of them has always seemed to stick out of the bunch. Old Criminality was so much better. But was it really? I've wanted to answer this question for quite some time, and today I'm gonna answer it in the most unbiased way possible. Okay, scratch that. I'm gonna be a little bit biased, but not overly biased. The only reason I'm doing this is because I didn't want to make this video an English presentation, because that shit's boring. So instead, I just want to give my straightforward opinion on what I personally liked from both the old and new version of Crim, rather than literally just listing update changes for an entire video. The gameplay of Criminality has become way more balanced, which is something I quite enjoy, but pretty much no one else does. With everything being balanced, this means you can use almost any weapon in the game and not feel like you are at a disadvantage. The problem with this is Criminality was more or less known for its tryhardiness, and you can see this through the old YouTube scene of Criminality. A lot of old Criminality content consisted of montages, and even I made some every now and then. Granted, they were shit, but you see what I mean. And in a lot of these montages, you can see a consistent pattern of guns being used: the Deagle, the Magnum, and all shotguns, since they were all just OP. These 5 weapons were the absolute dictators of the meta in old Criminality, and using other guns, unless they were of a higher tier, were likely just not as good as these. You could still use other guns, some notable ones being the Tech 9, M1911, and every SMG in the game, but they just didn't quite match up to the main 5. Surprisingly, people like this. They like these guns, besides the shotguns, being really powerful as they required skill. Honestly, I just liked how goofy C4 used to be. Because of all this balancing, some players have begun to move away from Criminality, and if they didn't, there would always just be some talk about how old Crim was better. This can be seen in how you rarely see any mass teaming gangs anymore, while in V1.2, almost every server had at least one 5-player gang. Criminality still has its tryhard scene though, as montages are still being made, and is what a majority of Criminality content is. So then, why do people still think old Criminality was better if people are still making these montages? Well, the answer to that is a little thing called nostalgia. Nostalgia. The feeling that the old days were better than the new days are, and is often what a lot of these old players go through. In reality, Criminality has improved in almost every way. The new map, the new weapons, and all the other stuff is just way better than how it used to be. This might just be me, but I think it was just the memories and fun times we had playing old Criminality. But there are a lot of other reasons why you might have liked old Criminality more than new Criminality. It could have been maybe seeing the loading screen menu for the first time, or maybe meeting the first people you ever teamed up with, or just crying out of pure laughter while having an amazing time. These are a few of the reasons I enjoyed old Criminality a lot, but the main one is this one. However, you can still experience this in new Criminality. Even the first 2 are still possible, but then pretty much none of this video makes sense to you, since you're probably not... you probably didn't play old Criminality if you could still experience the first 2. Something else people might miss is just spending time with those new people. I've made a lot of friends through Criminality, and a lot of them I still talk to this day. But I've begun to notice that a lot of people I used to play Criminality with don't. This started happening before V1.3, but was only propelled further by it. So then, was it V1.3's fault? Well, maybe. V1.3 was really sloppy, the movement felt just weird, a lot was unbalanced, and not like V1.2, where the guns that were strong actually took skill. Guns like the FAL, a fully automatic DMR, began to roam around and just take over servers and zergs. Tier 3 armor was also released in this update, and that was just an entire problem itself. However, a lot of the unbalancing problems have been fixed since then, and like I said earlier, you can use almost any weapon of your choice and not feel like you're just being cheesed. There are still a lot of problems with new Criminality, but if old Criminality was truly better, It shouldn't have averaged only 300 players, and New Criminality shouldn't average over 2,000 to 3,000 people a day. Sure, the game is free now, but at one point, Criminality could have 1 to 2,000 players all at once on paid access, and even that was a bit inconsistent at times. The game was also just getting really stale at that point, and you can ask almost anyone who played V1.2 about that. People were asking for an update, and well, they delivered, just not up to their expectations. The straightforward answer for the question, was old Criminality better than new Criminality, is no. Criminality has improved in virtually every way, and to me, is equally as fun as times like these.
Yeah, I'm leaving this.
Can't escape it. New players find Criminality almost every day, and since the game has gone free, the player base has only expanded and it can only expand from now. I appreciate all the fun times I had with old Criminality, but to be honest, Criminality is just as goofy, if not even more goofy than old Criminality. Things like the Trampoline, Hallows Launcher Mark II, and Snowball Launcher Mark II just make this game so much more fun. The competitiveness of Criminality has definitely come to a lower level than it used to be, with everything going towards a more balanced and noob-friendly direction, but I'm okay with that. I never played Criminality for that reason anyway. I played to have fun, and just to mess around in the process of that. And also use the melees, those are pretty great. I love all the memories I've made with old Criminality, but to be quite honest, I think it's time for everyone to just move on and appreciate the game for how much it has improved. Now, just because I said Criminality has gotten better, doesn't mean that it is completely flawless. I still do think old Crim does some things better, like weapons. I understand if you lost some IQ points after hearing that, since I was just complimenting on how they improved weapons a few minutes ago. And yeah, the weapons that have a barrel, a trigger, and most importantly bullets, are all pretty good. But weapons that have none of these, well, melees for a while have been put on the back burner. Being dead ass, they just aren't very scary, which is not a good thing. In my own opinion, every player should be completely shit scared when a drugged man with a fire axe begins to run at them, but that's just not the case. Here's another one. He gets a quick jump on me with the first fire axe hit, but then misses every other shot he takes. He even switches to his shotgun, but then all I do is jump off and continue the cycle of jumping on shit and jumping off of shit. The only melees that truly do scare me are ones that are very pointy, or ones that knock me into the sun. In reality, the only way melees can truly kill you is if they get the jump on you. If you see some dude with a shovel running in the open, you can just shoot him down, it's not really a threat. However, if that same person was hiding behind a corner where you were going to get some ammo for that gun you had, he can just body slam your ass into the ground and leave you stunned long enough for him to body slam you again. And that's the problem. In old Crim, you could run around with a melee, even something heavy like a metal bat, and just get some easy kills. You didn't have to wait for a lucky situation, it was purely based off of how well you could use your melee. A few days ago, I was playing some Crim, minding my own business, and I wanted to kill this dude right here. I'm being dead serious, it took me 2 full minutes to kill him because I had to play a game of cat and mouse. About 30 seconds later, I died to a gang with, guess what? Guns. And that's the next thing I want to talk about. I thought gangs had become a lot less popular as I had begun to see a lot more solos, which is actually a really good sign. However, if you take yourself over to standard servers, zerging is a pretty common occurrence. Although most of them are low ranks and are either using melees, ironically, or low tier guns, it is a problem that has definitely came up. There's no real coordination between these zergs as most of them are just 12-year-olds on their laptop, but it is pretty goddamn annoying, especially since they just follow the noise. If you really don't want to deal with this, you can just leave the server and find a new one, but where's the fun in that? Now, grab a shotgun, find out who has the highest bounty, kill them, exploiters have become much more apparent, probably because the game went free. I plan to make a video entirely dedicated to the exploiters since they are just hilarious, so stay tuned for that. With exploiters, it's the same situation as zergs. If they really annoy you, just hop servers, but honestly, you won't even need to since most of the exploiters just end up rage quitting or leave after they succeed. But again, where's the fun in that? We want to solve the problem, not avoid it. Except, you can't. Reporting exploiters can help, but my experience with it it wasn't really great. Here, I want you guys to watch this clip and tell me, does this look legit?
Higher level than me, or is you low? Oh, he's lower. It probably seems to be exploiters.
Okay, he just fucking dinked me for every shot, bro. Well, apparently, the mods thought that that was a-okay and that it's completely normal to hit 3 headshots while hip firing mid-air. I also don't know why my arms were damaged, both at an equal amount of damage taken. Maybe it's just how the limb system works, I don't know. If the dude was banned, I would have been completely fine with it. But, can you guess what the problem was? At first, I just thought that no one had read my ticket since it says claimed by no one, but it was closed by someone? Does this mean that the mods are just really lazy and don't care to get rid of these exploiters? Or are they actually fine with the exploiters roaming around and ruining the experience for their players? I can't answer that question, but maybe you guys can. Thanks for watching throughout the entirety of this video. It was really fun to make, and it gives me a way to see how I'm improving on video making by comparing my newest video to my older videos. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day and night, and if you'd like to see more content like this, you can go to my channel page by clicking on this circle, or watch another video of mine by clicking on this box.